The Senate will come to order. Senator Kupek.
Mr. President, I impose a call of the Senate.
The Senate is now under call. Senator Kupek.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that further proceedings under the roll call be dispensed with and the Sergeant at Arms be instructed to bring in the absent members.
On that motion, all in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say no. The motion prevails. Remaining on the motions and resolutions, I'll call on Senator Bowden to designate special orders.
Mr. President, pursuant to Rule 26, I designate the following bills be made special orders for immediate consideration.
Members, the special order list is on your desk. It's dated May 16th, 2026. We'll begin with House File number 4591. Senator, neither one of them are there. Senator Gustafson, we're waiting for you. As I mentioned, members, we're on House File 4591. Senator Gustafson.
Thank you, Mr. President. Before you is House File 4591. It is a state and local government policy and supplemental appropriations. I would lean on Chair Tu Zhang to walk us through the bill.
Senator Tu Zhang.
Thank you, Mr. President, members. Senator Gustafson's House File 4591. Which was originally the Empress Bill, is not the vehicle for the state and local government provisions. It reflects the target agreement of 925,000 target for fiscal year 26-27 and 8,000 fiscal year 28-29, set by the caucus leaders with the addition of a 1 million cancellation to MMB for implementation of DCYF. We have decided to spend on $100,000 for Amper's radio and $1.825 for public television serving rural Minnesota. We then included policy provisions with additional funding for the Office of the Inspector General, the Melissa and Mark Hortman Memorial State Park Working Group, penny rounding language from MMB. We've also added Senate File 4177, which was the legislative manual section for the Blue Book updates. House File 4462, state agency required to include a summary page in all requests for RFP proposals. The state historic site contracts. Legislative Commission on Cybersecurity the sunset date is extended. We've included Compensation Council's salary recommendation report date changes and changing a provision in the health insurance benefit plans offered in the non-represented employees compensation plan and the managerial plan. There's also language from House File 3682 or Senate File 4224, wherein grantee fraud risk rating system is put in place and corresponding grants managements are appropriated. And then there's Senate File 4422, continuing operations of the legislature provided in advance of the legislature becoming duly organized, along with provision to update the Board of Barber Examiners and then the Board of Cosmetologist Examiners. With that, that's the summary of the bill. I'd add more further or wait for questions from members.
Members, we're on House File 4591. Any discussion or any amendments before we give the bill its third reading? Seeing none, the Secretary will give the bill its third reading.
House File 4591, a bill for an act relating to state government, providing for the operation of legislative organization, government administrative and financial functions, etc.
Third reading. Any other discussion before we vote? Seeing no further discussion, Senator Young.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd just like to thank the staff, all the Senate staff, the researchers, the interns, my previous committee administrator, Michaela, my current committee administrator, Sebastian Gonzalez, and my fellow researcher, Haley Bloomberg, along with the Pages, Cindy Gonzaga, Isaac Barber, along with Lead Lang, the Vice Chairs Gustafson and Vice Chair May Quaid for their continuous hard work. And as it will be my final bill presenting, I thank everyone for giving me the privilege to present this bill, and it's been a great honor and look forward to seeing this passed. Thank you.
The Secretary will take the final roll for House File 4591. Senator Westland, for those voting pursuant to Rule 40.7.
Thank you, Mr. President. Senator Carlson votes aye.
Senator Carlson votes aye.
Senator Herr votes aye.
Senator Herr votes aye.
Senator Kunish votes aye.
Senator Kunish votes aye.
Senator Hoffman votes aye.
Senator Hoffman votes aye.
Senator Johnson Stewart votes aye.
Senator Johnson Stewart votes aye.
Senator Rest votes aye.
Senator Rest votes aye.
And Senator Marty votes aye.
And Senator Marty votes aye. Senator Swazinski, are you voting? Senator Jasinski, for those voting pursuant to Rule 40.7.
Thank you, Mr. President. Senator Coleman votes aye.
Senator Coleman votes aye.
Senator Holmstrom votes no.
Senator Holmstrom votes no.
We're waiting on one, Mr. President.
Senator Jasinski.
Thank you, Mr. President. Senator Pratt votes aye.
Senator Pratt votes aye. All members having voted, who desires to vote, the secretary will close the roll. There have been 53 ayes and 13 nays. The bill is passed and its title agreed to. Members will now go to House File 3825. Senator Wiklund.
Thank you, Mr. President. House File 3825 represents work that has been done with the other body, and we have today before you an HHS Omnibus scope and licensing bill. If it seems familiar, it is very, very similar to what we passed off the Senate floor. And I will just go through the changes from that omnibus bill. There were changes to language in Article 1 that relate to acupuncture and herbal medicine practice based on feedback from stakeholders. And this bill also includes the advanced practice registered nurse compromise language that was an amendment that was passed on the Senate floor. That is incorporated. And then also another amendment that was on the Senate floor is the health practicing without a license language that provides that it is unlawful for a person who is not a natural person to practice medicine, optometry, and psychology. Only one provision has not continued on in this bill, and that is the language related to physician assistants, and it would have been a title change to physician associate. That provision is no longer included in the bill. So the articles are in the same order as basically as the other bill, with the removal of that article for the physician assistant practice, and the spreadsheet is the same, and I can answer if there are any questions. Thank you.
Members, we're on House File 3825. Any amendments or discussion? Seeing none, the Secretary will give the bill its third reading.
House File 3825, a bill for an act relating to health occupations, modifying licensing and scope of practice for acupuncture and herbal medicine practice, etc.
Third reading. Senator Port.
Thank you, Mr. President and members. I want to thank Senator Wiklund and the team for including the music therapy licensing. Those folks have worked for many years to bring this to the legislature, and I'm really grateful we were able to get that over the finish line. I want to specifically thank Erica Rupp for her work on that. Thank you, Mr. President.
Any other discussion before we... Did we give the bill its third reading? Because I don't see it up on the screen. All right, we're on final passage. Any other discussion? Seeing none, the Secretary will take the roll for final passage of House File 3825. Members, please vote. Senator Westland, for those voting pursuant to Rule 40.7.
Thank you, Mr. President. Senator Carlson votes aye.
Senator Carlson votes aye.
Senator Herr votes aye.
Senator Herr votes aye.
Senator Kunish votes aye.
Senator Kunish votes aye.
Senator Hoffman votes aye.
Senator Hoffman votes aye.
Senator Johnson Stewart votes aye.
Senator Johnson Stewart votes aye.
Senator Rest votes aye.
Senator Rest votes aye.
And Senator Marty votes aye.
Senator Marty votes aye. Senator Jasinski, for those voting pursuant to Rule 40.7.
Thank you, Mr. President. Senator Coleman votes aye, and we're waiting on one.
Senator Coleman votes aye. Senator Westland.
Thank you, Mr. President. Senator Fate votes aye.
Senator Fate votes aye. Senator Jasinski.
Thank you, Mr. President. Senator Pratt votes no.
Senator Pratt votes no. All members having voted who desires to vote, the secretary will close the roll. There being 42 ayes and 24 noes, the bill is passed and its title agreed to. Members, we'll now go to Senate file number 4515, Senator Duckworth.
Thank you, Mr. President. I believe at this point this bill needs no further introduction. All I will say is, members, please, let's just pass this for the people of Minnesota so they can enjoy meat raffles. That's all I've got, Mr. President. Thank you.
Any other discussion on Senate file number 4515? Senator McQuaid.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm wondering if the senator from Lakeville would yield for a question.
Senator Duckworth will yield. Senator McQuaid.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have ticket 004512, and I'm wondering if that was the winner of the most recent meat raffle.
Winner, winner, you're in luck.
No visual props, please. No visual props. Any other discussion before we give the bill its third reading? Senator Dibble.
Thank you, Mr. President. I would like to offer the A3 amendment.
Senator Dibble offers the A3 amendment. The secretary will report the A3 amendment.
Senator Dibble moves to amend Senate File 4515 as follows. Page 1 after line 4, insert Section 1. This is Amendment A-3.
Senator Dibble to the A3 amendment.
Thank you, Mr. President. Members, the A3 amendment has to do with sweepstakes. I figured that was appropriate because this is a bill about meat steaks. Sorry, just trying to get in with the dad caucus over there. So, Mr. President, members, this is the same language as the bill that was heard and passed on a strong bipartisan vote a few weeks ago that would ban online sweepstakes, which are represented as, social gaming or whatever that don't have consideration, chance, or prizes, and that's actually not true because it is actually a type of online gambling that is gambling in every respect. They just do a little switcheroo with the free tokens that you can cash out for actual cash. And so that is my amendment, Mr. President.
Mr. President.
Senator Liskey.
Point of order under Rules 35.2. I would like the President to consider this amendment not germane. It is seeking to accomplish a substantially different purpose than the bill itself.
Any additional advice? Senator Duckworth.
Yes, Mr. President, briefly. The meat raffle bill itself pertains to Chapter 349, which is the gaming statute. The amendment, which, oh, by the way, is a bill we did pass off the floor already earlier this session, relates to trade regulations and consumer protection, which is Chapter 325. So this amendment is not germane to the underlying bill, and I would ask you respectfully to rule accordingly. Thank you.
Senator Dibble.
Thank you, Mr. President. I would request that you rule the amendment germane because the underlying bill, Senate File 4515, regardless of whether or not they're separate sections, they do deal with the same matter of setting forth the rules and the laws and the expectations that we have in state law around gambling and the like. So thank you, Mr. President. I think they do absolutely support one another. It's passing laws that have to do with gaming or gambling or whatever you want to call it.
Senator Matthews.
Thank you, Mr. President. I would urge you to rule this amendment not germane. With all due respect to my colleague and his attempt at joining the dad joke caucus, under our Senate rules, rhyming does not equal germaneness, and it would not be a precedent that we should start today. This expands the scope of this very small bill, highlight different sections of law that this is incorporating. Ask that you would find this non-germane.
Members, I'll take it under advisement. Members, after listening to advice, looking over the rules, I find the point of order is well taken. Any other discussion on Senate File number 4515 before we give the bill its third reading?
Oh, wait till third reading.
We'll make the change on the board here. The Secretary will give the bill its third reading.
Senate File 4515, a bill for an act relating to lawful gambling, modifying certain prize and ticket limits.
Third reading. Now, Senator Jasinski.
Thank you, Mr. President. I stand in full support of Senator Duckworth's Senate File 4515. He's been here many years, and I've seen him work very hard on this bill. We've had a lot of discussion on it, and I think it's a great bill. Vote green.
Senator Weissenberg.
Thank you, Mr. President. Well, I think Aaron McQuaid made an excellent comment, and Dibble's comment was a little scrambled. I think this is a good bill. It's a great.
All comments to the president.
Sorry, Mr. President. So I have a funny story. I wanted to talk about meat raffles. I was delivering pizza back in like 2001, and we were delivering pizza, and my buddy drove by the VFW in Sauk Rapids, and he's like, "There's meat raffle playing here tonight at 6 p.m." Then he went to Sartell, and he's like, "How is meat raffle playing at Sartell VFW at 6 p.m. and at the VFW in Sartell and Sauk Rapids at the same time?" I'm like, so he calls me. He's like, this band Meat Raffle is playing in two spots at the same time. He didn't realize what a Meat Raffle was, so it was kind of funny. So I do think Meat Raffle would be a good name for a band, though, Mr. President. It's a great bill. Vote green.
Members, any other discussion before I go to the author of the bill? Senator Liskey.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, will Senator Duckworth yield for a question?
Senator Duckworth, will you yield? He will yield. Senator Liskey.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, Senator Duckworth. It's a really easy question. When will this bill go in effect so that I can go and get better prizes at the next meat raffle I attend?
Senator Duckworth, to the question.
Well, Senator Liskey, although my hope would be that it would be effective immediately, I don't have it in front of me at the moment, so it will be effective immediately in our hearts, and I'll get back to you on the actual answer later.
Senator Liskey.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, Senator Duckworth. I look forward to going to my next meat raffle in the small city of Lonsdale, and I'll have to shoot you a text if it didn't go in effect yet. So thank you very much. Vote green.
Any other discussion before I go to the author? Senator Seeberger.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, Senator Duckworth, for all your hard work on this bill. Thank you also to Senator Clark. We all know the importance of meat raffles, not only for the fun and camaraderie that they provide, but also for our charitable organizations, our VFWs, our American Legions, our youth sports. So super proud to support this bill, and I will be an enthusiastic yes. Thank you, Mr. President.
Senator Clark.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, the senator from Lakeville, for bringing this forward. This is a bill that unites Lakeville, Northeast Minneapolis, and Afton, and even Lonsdale. So thank you for bringing this bill forward, and the lovers of meat raffles celebrate. Thank you, Mr. President.
Any other discussion before I go this, to Senator Duckworth, who is the author of the amendment, author of the bill? All right, Senator Duckworth, for final comments before we vote for final passage.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'll be brief. Whoops. I just want to say, members, thank you. I know many of you are probably going to vote green just to stop caucusing about this on the daily basis. But it is a good bill. I'm glad we were able to find a way for it. We do still need the other chamber to do what they need to do to find an agreement and pass this thing and make it law. But it's going to do a lot of good for local charities, in all seriousness. Youth sports, a lot of great civic organizations. They're going to be able to raise even more money if this becomes law for a whole lot of really good causes out there. So thanks, everybody. This was a lot of behind-the-scenes work with Senator Seeberger and her DFL colleagues in combination with the Republicans over here. So one of those examples of where a lot of conversation, a lot of teamwork actually got it to this point. And I thank the leader as well for allowing us to take the vote today. And let's hope that we can get it across the finish line. Thank you.
The Secretary will take the roll for final passage on Senate File number 4515. Members, please vote. Senator Westland, are you ready for those voting pursuant to Rule 40.7?
Mr. President, I will give you what I do have. Senator Herr votes aye.
Senator Herr votes aye.
Senator Kunish votes aye.
Senator Kunish votes aye.
Senator Hoffman votes aye.
Senator Hoffman votes aye.
Senator Johnson Stewart votes aye.
Senator Johnson Stewart votes aye.
Senator Rest votes aye.
Senator Rest votes aye.
Senator Marty votes aye.
Senator Marty votes aye.
Senator Fateh votes aye.
Senator Fateh votes aye.
Senator Mohammed votes aye.
Senator Mohammed votes aye.
Senator Klein votes aye.
Senator Klein has voted. Senator Jasinski, for those voting pursuant to Rule 40.7.
Thank you, Mr. President. Senator Coleman votes aye.
Senator Coleman votes aye.
And Senator Pratt votes aye.
And Senator Pratt votes aye. Senator Westland.
Thank you, Mr. President. Senator Carlson votes aye.
And Senator Carlson votes aye. All members having voted who desires to vote, the Secretary will close the roll. There have been 67 ayes and 0 nays. The bill is passed and is title agreed to. Members, we will now go to House File number 3298. Senator Weber.
Thank you, Mr. President. There are approximately 500 underground storage systems in our fuel business in Minnesota that use single-walled steel piping as they pump the gas from the tanks to the dispensers. If one of these pipes fails and we have a leak, it's the Minnesota Petro Fund that has to come in and pay for the majority of the cleanup. The most recent release in central Minnesota cost the Petro Fund approximately $2 million. The purpose of this bill is to create a program that would allow up to $100,000 per operator for the replacement of single-walled steel piping. There would be a maximum of 2 sites allowed per operator per year, and there would be a maximum of $4 million used per year out of the fund. And this would cover the cost of the piping and all necessary equipment that goes along with it, as well as dirt work, concrete work, anything necessary to replace that piping. It is a project that has been worked on by Fueling Minnesota together with the Department of Commerce and with the MPCA as they have worked out the wording for this particular bill. I would encourage, and there is a sunset also on this program of 10 years out. I would encourage everyone to have a green vote, and I'll stand for any questions.
Senator Friends.
Thank you, Mr. President, and thank you, Senator Weber. Members, this is one of those times when different entities in Minnesota come together to protect the environment, in this case, our groundwater. This is an easy yes vote, Mr. President. If we want to prevent these types of leaks, we have to partner with these entities to help the cleanup and help make them less common. Vote green. Thank you.
Any other discussion before we give the bill its third reading? Seeing no further discussion, the Secretary will give the bill its third reading.
House File 3298, a bill for an act relating to energy, establishing reimbursement program for underground petroleum storage tank systems with pressurized single-walled steel piping, etc.
Third reading. Any other discussion before we give the author the final comments? Senator Howe.
Thank you, Mr. President. Another good point on this bill, this will allow those fueling stations, those convenience stores, to actually upgrade their tanks and upgrade their piping so they can use that E85 and E88, which currently right now many of their systems can't currently operate with. So that'll help us use different fuels to actually save our environment too. Thank you, Mr. President.
Any other discussion before we go to the bill author for final comments? Seeing none, Senator Weber, any final comments?
Mr. President, thank you. Good bill. Vote green.
The Secretary will take the roll for final passage of House File 3298. Senator Westland, for those voting pursuant to Rule 40.7.
Thank you, Mr. President. Senator Carlson votes aye.
Senator Carlson votes aye.
Senator Herr votes aye.
Senator Herr votes aye.
Senator Kunish votes aye.
Senator Kunish votes aye.
Senator Hoffman votes aye.
Senator Hoffman votes aye.
Senator Johnson Stewart votes aye.
Senator Johnson Stewart votes aye.
Senator Rest votes aye.
Senator Rest votes aye.
Senator Marty votes aye.
Senator Marty votes aye.
Senator Fateh votes aye.
Senator Fateh votes aye.
Senator Mohammed votes aye.
Senator Mohammed votes aye.
And Senator Klein votes aye.
And Senator Klein votes aye. Senator Jasinski, for those voting pursuant to Rule 40.7.
Thank you, Mr. President. Senator Coleman votes aye.
Senator Coleman votes aye.
Senator Matthews votes aye.
Senator Matthews votes aye.
And thank you, Mr. President. Senator Pratt votes aye.
And Senator Pratt votes aye. All members having voted who desires to vote, the Secretary will close the roll. There have been 62 ayes and 5 nays. The bill is passed and its title agreed to. I'll now call on Senator Bolden for a motion.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that House File number 4492 be taken from the table and given a second reading.
Any discussion? All in favor say aye. All those opposed say no. The motion prevails. The Secretary will give the House file its second reading.
House File 4492.
The House file has been given a second reading. I'm calling on Senator Bolden again.
Mr. President, I move that House File number 4492 be laid on the table.
Any other discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. All those opposed say no. The motion prevails. The bill is laid on the table. I believe there's another motion. Senator Bowden.
Thank you, Mr. President. Members, I am going to make a motion to recess to the call of the President. We are now waiting for bills to come over to us from the other body, and so please don't go too far. Watch your emails. We will give some notice before we return, and with that, I motion that the Senate goes into recess to the call of the President.
Senator Johnson, I'm sorry. Senator Johnson.
Thank you, Mr. President. And I wonder if Senator Bolden would yield to a question.
Senator Bowden, will you yield? She will yield. Senator Johnson.
All right. Thank you, Mr. President. Senator Bolden, could you give us a little bit of a roadmap of what the day might look like here, what bills we will have, and about what the timing is as far as a notice to come back to the floor?
Senator Bowden, when you're ready, you can stand and answer the question. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President. Members, I think what we are looking to hear throughout the day is various conference committee reports and messages from the other body. And so, as I said, we are a bit waiting for some things to come over, and so watch your emails, and we will come back when we have more work to do.
Senator Johnson.
Thank you, Mr. President. And Senator Bolden, thank you for that. Would you be willing to yield to another question, please?
Senator Bowden, will you yield? She will yield. Senator Johnson.
Thank you. And would you give us just a timeline on how much notice we can expect to receive prior to coming back to floor?
Senator Bowden, to the question.
Thank you, Mr. President, and thank you for the question. I would expect 30 minutes-ish would be my statement. Yes, half hour.
Senator Johnson.
All right. Thank you, Mr. President. So that's all the questions I had. Thank you very much.
To the motion for a recess, all in favor say aye. All those opposed say no. The motion prevails. The Senate is now in recess to the call of the President.